Good afternoon, and I deny the tuck shop comment. I don't think I forged a career in selling kiwi pies, but probably did. Well, it's good to be back in Auckland. I still have a house here in Auckland, up on the Waitakaris. Boy, things change when you are away. I got out of the airport the other day after a rather long flight, got on the motorway and saw, wow, finally they had connected to the Waitakaris. The new motorway went on, it got totally lost, and if it wasn't for the hills, I probably wouldn't have been here today. So progress does change. My perspective today is going to come from global view versus more of a local view. And my perspective comes, and you've heard a lot today, it's actually around reoccurring themes from the speakers. It's all around a word that I call pace. And I think I'm going to talk about pace in sort of 3 or 4 aspects today. As I see some very tectonic changes in the way businesses run, I'm seeing paradigm shifts in the way that large corporations are adopting technology. I'm not a paid advertisement here for Sam, or that you're going to wonder when I talk, because Sam and I agree remarkably on a lot of things. But I want to talk about also social trends, because it's very important from the conversations we had here yesterday about New Zealand. And can New Zealand really be competitive? Can we really write the new next generation blueprint? And what is it that we have to do individually or as corporations to get there? And so I'll talk about really 3 or 4 key themes that I'm seeing multinational, Fortune 500 companies dealing with and really embracing. And I think the word embrace is really critical, because if you can't get on the bandwagon, then the train's left the station. And I would say that the train's already left the station, and it's up to us now to get back onto the train and lead the world. The first thing is, I think video enablement is here. Now, whether New Zealand's current network can allow you to connect is a different question. But I think video enablement is here, and we'll talk about that and what that means. The world continues to shrink. And we talk about a 24/7 environment. I think it's now 25/7. And I think the world changes so rapidly. One tweet is a twit, or one twit's a tweet, and one comment can make a company respond totally different than it did in a prior life. Human capital is key, and we've heard about it today. But how do we use human capital? And I'm a firm believer with Karen that education is critical. But how do we enhance and how do we use the collective intellectual capital of everybody? And the last is, I think, the cloud. And we talk about the cloud and cloud computing. I'm not so much concerned about cloud computing, but I'm more concerned about the cloud and what that means. The thought of you creating something that's 100% is ridiculous these days. If you create something that's 100% made, you're going to lose your way. And I think the cloud is going to show you what that means, and we'll talk about that. So, how many in this audience have a device that has a camera on it? Right, I thought that might be the case. And whether it's, and again, I don't want to be a paid advertisement for any company or any technology, but how many of you actually have downloaded an application, and we talked about some this morning, Skype or anywhere, or, how many of you actually got those applications? Right. And how many of you actually have those applications that your children or your family use at home, right? And how many of you actually bring them into work and use them? Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad to see that. Because face-to-face collaboration is going to be key in the future. And when I say the future, I mean now. So what do I mean by that? We've lost the art of human connection. We sit, typically in the old days, we used to sit in cubicles. For those that heard before, I left the country 14 years ago. I took advantage of an opportunity, and that was when the government needed money. They were selling off state-owned enterprises. They sold a couple of companies to a company called EDS. I jumped on that bandwagon and moved to America, and that's where I started. But the way that we communicate in New Zealand, considering our distance, has to change. Because the products that we sell around the world, and if the world is collaborating by these video technologies, then we have to be on the forefront of using the technology. And it's that technology enablement that's really blurring the word between what is a consumer right? And what is an enterprise business? If you were a shampoo manufacturer and you had access tomorrow to 1 billion new customers because they all got signed up on Facebook, or they all got a Twitter account, or they all used a social media, you would communicate to them immediately differently, wouldn't you? So the market is very global and very open, and you know, whether we've got 8 or 9 billion people in this world, I tell you, every day that goes past, more and more of those people are becoming available to you to sell products and service to. Consumer applications have now merged into business applications. And what's good to see is I was speaking to a gentleman in Wellington at the Ernst & Young entrepreneur presentation on Monday, and he had launched an application on his iPhone called Pandora, which enabled you to stitch pictures together and press a button, and it merged them all together. And as we were talking, he's got 25,000 or 30,000 customers that have paid $9 or $10 for the application. But what he has now is he has a great customer base. And we talked about pace, and we talked about using visual media, and really the lesson was he put the application up there, but he forgot to put the website. And the day that he put the application up there, he got an email saying, "You haven't got a website." He went home that night, put up a website, and connected the 2 dots. So if you want to take a lesson from this, pace is speed. You don't have to get 100% right. Get it out there, and when it's out there, alliterate, right? Because by the time you try to get everything perfect, someone else would have done it, and you'll be bypassed. So using visual, and the fact that I think we are a visual society and video will be everywhere, start using the tool sets in the environment in the office. Start breaking down those barriers and start using human connection, because what human connection does is it builds bonds. And when you build bonds, we talked about trust before. And trust is really important in business. Also, when you can click and talk to somebody in Singapore visually, or in the US visually, and the technology can be a little bit grainy, that's okay. It'll get better. We'll get a new fiber cable from Sam and it will work the world. And you know, you need to start changing the way that you think about that paradigm. You know, I work for a telecommunications company and I've worked for an IT company. I've seen technology that's around the corner, like in 6 months, that allow a hologram. So next year we could do the World Class Awards, we can all hologram in, because the projection technology is there already to enable us to be standing on the stage in virtual reality by a couple of mirrors. So I tell you, I think visual society and video everywhere is really important. Okay, technological innovation. I agree. I think New Zealanders and everyone I know overseas are technologically, I think this is an innovative country. And we do it so well. But how do we breed an innovation culture? And it might go back to the comment about education, but I love what Claudia was talking about with crowdsourcing. And I think what this is, you know, use the tool sets that are available and use the collective intellect of all of the people you know to help solve problems, because we don't do it. How many of you have heard of Facebook, right? Okay, I don't have a Facebook, but for those that have Facebooks or MySpace or LinkedIn, I mean, there's just, it does something, right? You do something and you get something back from it. A major trend in major Fortune 100 companies around the world is taking Facebook internal. And the importance of that, and you heard before that I was on the board of X Prize that uses prizes to challenge people to solve problems for humanity. What companies are doing is they're realizing that they're not using the capital of the employee base that they have today. Because we all sit in silos, and you typically walk around an office block and you've got accounting here and finance here and HR here. Mix everybody up. Mix everybody up. Because what you want to do is you want to challenge people with a problem. You want to say, this is what we have to solve. And you put that problem out on an internal Facebook, and guess what? Someone that's in accounting is going to solve a major problem that's in sales, and someone in sales is going to solve a problem that's in a major finance problem. Because we don't know what everybody has in their intellect because we only use the pigeonhole of the person in their role today in their building. It's amazing. I've seen this internal Facebook. At BT, they have an internal Facebook that they've rolled out. And what you see is you see people's engagement index increase. And that means you're more satisfied, you come to work, and you add value to the company. But also, you get to see other people's ideas. And you get a plethora of ideas that then you think, I'm going to go do something with that. So you get to see other people's ideas, you get to pick up, you get to do your own, you get to go off and take that and do something with it. So make your whole collective workforce work for you. Use the skill sets that everybody has. And by the way, take it to your advantage and find a niche and go and explore that niche. The next really big thing is cloud, and I'm a big proponent of the cloud. It frightens me because it has the ability to totally disintermediate what we do. It totally changes cost structure. We talked about pace, and we talk about a company today that may take 6 months to get a product to market. Do you think a startup today would go out to the local computer store and go buy some software and go buy a server and go buy some, no. They log on, they create someone else's infrastructure, Amazon's or Google's or Microsoft's. They configure what they want and they use what they want and they pay for it as they want, and guess what? It's instant. Within an hour, you can have a fully operational system, accounting, invoicing, everything. And what it means is that your time to market for your product and what you want is dramatically reduced. But it also gives you the fact that it gives you, for big corporations, the ability to lower the cost of your operations. And when you take cost out, that gives you more money to do something else with that cost savings. It changes the economics and it teaches us to do one thing. And this is a very important thing that we've got to learn to do, and that is partner. As I said before, if you want 100% anything, then you're going to get 100% of nothing. Because today, 100% is not able to be done. You are going to have to learn to partner. You are going to have to say, who does this the best, in the most cheapest, reliable fashion, and take it. What is core and what is not core is the question, versus what I need to own and versus what I don't need to own. You need to be able to make sure that you know how to partner. What are the dynamics of partnership that you want? What is it you want from your partner? And remember, you need to communicate with your partner. And the other thing is, partnerships change. What's good for today may not suit you for tomorrow. So the disposability, or maybe a better word would be the ability to change on the fly, is really important. And if you think the big boys out there don't understand that, whether it's Google or Microsoft or HP or, they are there and they are investing billions of dollars in this space. Use that investment, use it to your advantage, and be very competitive with it, because you know what? It is very much here. So, embrace, get pace, don't create. Human capital is really important. And you have so much human capital here and the potential to use human capital if we only enabled. I think the wonderful thing about Care, and the thing that I totally woke up this week about, is 30,000 plus New Zealanders connected in a network. And if, I will speak to Stephen about maybe we'll ask 30,000 in the Care network. We'll send out a problem to go solve and see how quickly that problem is solved. But if you think 30,000 brains working on a problem could solve something, I guarantee you it can. Be bold and be quick. Don't wait. Launch. You can always fix. Time to market is really critical. And keep up to date with technology. Don't worry about whether it's not here, right? Because you can go somewhere else and get it. Everyone overseas uses the technology that's available. Become current, become relevant. And I really appreciate the time today. Thank you very much.